Thank you, Bill. My name is Richard Wang. I'm a mortgage broker with The Loan Story, located in Santa Clara, California. I've been licensed by what is now the Bureau of Real Estate since 1992, and since then, I've closed 1,062 mortgage loan transactions and counting. Somewhere along the line, I had a momentary lapse of reason and decided to go back to school to earn my JD MBA, and I actually practiced law for a few years before coming to my senses and realizing that my true calling is in the lending industry. Mortgage loans are all that I do. It's all that I will ever do. And I'm proud to present today the path to home ownership. This is a first-time home buyer presentation, a condensed version that is designed for you, your friends and family, coworkers, and especially your referrals. So the path to home ownership is indeed a journey, right, Mark?
It is.
It's a long journey sometimes, but the conclusion is often coined the American dream. Everybody wants to own a home. Not only is mortgage debt the cheapest source of financing in the world, it's also very tax advantageous. You have the mortgage interest deduction as well as the capital gains benefit when you sell the home. I mean, if you think about it, how many other investments are there out there where you can put 0% down and enjoy 100% of the appreciation? I think this is the only one. So how do you fulfill the American dream? This is a brief glimpse at the purchase process. It's a quick overview. Number one, if you're buying a house or if you're in the market thinking about it, the first thing you do is talk to your lender or mortgage broker. We do pre-qualifications over the phone. We can issue pre-approval letters after reviewing your income and asset documentation. And then a newer, higher level of review is a to-be-determined approval, otherwise known as a TBD approval, where we send your documents to a live underwriter who approves, conditions your loan so you can address any weaknesses before you even identify a property and get into contract. It's a great way to get yourself into a competitive situation and make yourself your offer very comparable to cash offers. And once that's done, you do some level of review. That's when you find your favorite realtor and go house searching. Once you find the house of your dreams and you zero in on it and place an offer, then of course if your offer is accepted, that's when the fun begins, otherwise known as the loan process. That's where I come in. 15 to 45 days later, you sign your life away and you close escrow and celebrate. Along the way, everybody knows, unless you've been on another planet, that the lending landscape has shifted dramatically the past 5 years. And this is a funny cartoon entitled Mortgage Origination Crimes. The guy on the left is saying, I miscalculated the GFE by 3 cents. How about you? And the other guy says, I looked directly at an appraiser. It's really not that bad. They don't really shackle us when we go to jail. But it's certainly, lending guidelines have certainly tightened the last several years. But what hasn't changed is the core components of what determine the strength of any loan profile. And that's what I'm going to focus on today. Your purchasing power depends on 3 things, the first of which is assets. You have to have money in almost every case. Traditionally, a 20% down payment is required, often more for the best pricing, but there are other options. And on one end of the spectrum, if you put down 40% or more down, you'll get the best pricing in any loan scenario. Most of us aren't that fortunate, but 40% down. So the next threshold where you can avoid some significant fees is at 25% down. And specifically for condos or non-owner occupied rental properties, if you apply for adjustable rate mortgage programs or jumbo loans. And if you're applying for a standard fixed rate conforming loan, which is anything at $625,000 or less, you just need to put down 20% down for the best pricing. Now, if you don't have 20%, that's when it gets kind of interesting. You can apply for a second loan to bridge the gap between what you have and the 20% threshold, or you have to deal with mortgage insurance, which can be either in the form of a government program like an FHA loan, or through conventional means through private mortgage insurance. And finally, are there any 0% programs out there anymore? Not really. If you have a certificate of eligibility from the Veterans Administration, that's about the only program that allows you 100% financing at this time, VA loans. So that's kind of a short glimpse. You do need to have money. As a quick side note, there are first-time home buyer programs out there which provide down payment assistance, But here in the Bay Area, it's kind of far and few between, given the median sales price is at $780,000. You need to make quite a bit of money, and a lot of these programs limit your income. So it's really a narrow class of consumers who qualify. You need to have money, and you need to make money. Number 2 is income. The standard metric that we use is known as the debt-to-income ratio, otherwise known as the DTI. The top part is total monthly debt, housing plus non-housing, divided by monthly gross income. Simple calculation. And here's a quick example. I don't want you to pay attention to the numbers, just I want to introduce the types of lines that we see in the calculation. So for housing debt, we have principal and interest, property tax, and home insurance that you have to factor in. And for non-housing debt, we see things like car loans, school loans, and revolving debt like credit cards. And this is just a quick example. In this case, whoever this person is qualifies with a 36.6% DTI. Typically, if you are at 45% or lower, you should be able to get approved. So you have to have money. You have to demonstrate a future stream and the ability to make money. Third, you need to have credit worthiness. You need to show the ability to repay your debt and to meet your obligations. And everybody has a credit score in here, I think, right? Things you can do to build and maintain a high score. It's not going to help you to have a bunch of credit cards laying around that have 0 balances. You have to use them so you can demonstrate your ability to make payments over time. Everybody knows you should never be late, but did you know you could raise your credit score by making multiple payments instead of one every month? And you want to keep your balances low generally, about 30% or less than your credit limits. And after establishing credit, please do not open any new accounts, especially when you're applying for a mortgage. And lastly, be patient. Raising your credit score is very similar to losing weight. It doesn't happen overnight, and it takes time. Assets, income, credit. Once you establish those core components, you are ready to apply for a mortgage. So you can either choose a bank, traditional Wells Fargo, retail, or Bank of America, or you can choose your favorite mortgage broker, such as the Loan Story. We are approved with over 50 wholesale lenders. Through all my loans and through all my broker of records loans, we've had not a single default. We promote the core values of integrity, quality, creativity, simplicity. We have deep industry involvement. 3 of our loan agents are on the board of the California Association of Mortgage Professionals, the industry's networking group. And we have a culture built on relentless work ethic and insatiable thirst for lending. The path to homeownership. It begins by establishing assets, income, and credit. And hopefully at the end, you will have the house keys in your pocket. But it all starts by calling your favorite mortgage broker, your favorite lender. My loans are free. My advice is priceless. Questions? Mr. Eisenhart.